This video is focused on DigCompEdu Strand 3 self-regulated learning. In particular, we look at current technologies to support self-regulated learning. We'll identify current technologies that support self-regulated learning, and we'll critique these tools. To date, we've looked at different self-regulated learning definitions, models, and strategies. Now we look at how technology can be used to support these. Technology can play a critical role in supporting the processes and strategies to enable self-regulated learning. It can also provide information to teachers, parents, and students on how they're navigating the learning environment, so they can identify how best to support themselves and students. We look at some of the current technologies available and how they can be used to support self-regulated learning. For goal setting and strategic planning, learning management systems such as Google Classroom, Microsoft Teams can be used to set reminders, share rubrics or assessment guidelines. This can be used to facilitate strategic planning processes of self-regulated learning. If students are aware of what tasks they have to do, when they have to complete them, and what's required of them, it provides them with the information to allow them to plan successfully. However, in terms of pedagogical approaches, teachers need to guide students on how to use these resources. For example, teachers need to explicitly direct students to guides and rubrics to encourage them to plan the structure of an assignment or a task they are to complete. This aligns to the whole research that advocates for explicit teaching of self-regulated learning. Mind mapping is another piece of software to support planning. Again, encouraging students to use it to brainstorm ideas for their work. It needs, again, to be explicitly pointed to students and explained why they need to use it. Also encouraging them to think about the structure of their mind map, why they're putting different components in, is critically important to support the self-regulation and evaluation element. Digital noteboards such as Trello and Padlet can support learners to break down work into tasks or lists. It also allows them to monitor their progress. For example, columns that involve students moving a task from to do to completed allows them to monitor how they're progressing. Learning management tools such as Microsoft Teams also provide emotion boards to monitor students' feelings and attitudes towards a learning topic. Teachers can observe this data and share it with students. It also provides activities for brain breaks, directing the students to these activities and enabling them to choose activities to engage with to facilitate the regulation of learning. Here you'll see on the screen a shot of Microsoft Teams. You can see there's a list of different check-in tools such as an emotion board and brain breaks that students can avail of. Providing check-in opportunities with students at regular intervals where they complete an emotion board, the teacher monitors the dashboard to see if students are struggling, and suggesting students to take an individualised brain break facilitates self-regulated learning. In particular, it encourages them to monitor their own learning and identify strategies to keep them motivated by taking breaks. Self-regulating strategies involve providing banks of quick quiz questions to provide opportunities for students to self-assess their learning. This can provide opportunities in terms of self-evaluation element of self-regulated learning. Also, it could form part of a lesson, where each student could be asked to write 3 questions and answers and send them to the teacher. The teacher will correct these and upload them to the quiz bank. Students could be provided with a link to access these at home or in their own time to self-assess. Another example of self-regulated learning tools are PowerPoint coaches, where students can record themselves presenting information. PowerPoint coaches provide them with feedback on how fast they're reading, whether they need to slow down on their pronunciation. In Microsoft Teams, there's also learning accelerator tools, such as reading progress and numeracy progress. This provides them with opportunities to practice their learning and provides them with feedback. Video recording can also provide opportunities for students to self-evaluate, particularly for lessons such as physical education or presentation skills. Students can video themselves, review and use a rubric to self-assess their performance. E-portfolios are becoming more popular and provide an opportunity for self-regulated learning and assessment. They're pivotal instruments in educational technology and showcase students' achievements. They closely support several self-regulated learning objectives, in particular reflections and self-assessment. E-portfolios serve as repositories for students' work, allowing them to document learning progress from ongoing tasks to final outcomes. Students take ownership of the learning journey and engage in self-assessment. It can also facilitate in the development of self-confidence or self-efficacy. Students can reflect on their learning over time and review different artefacts they've developed at different age groups. By looking at how they've progressed and how they've developed over time, increases self-motivation and authentic engagement. Studies have shown that the use of e-portfolios fosters confident, autonomous learners with high self-efficacy. E-portfolios also have been used to facilitate the setting of goals among high school students, furthering their self-regulated learning. Digital learning journals and e-portfolios give students opportunities to create, share and reflect on their own knowledge and experience. Setting different subtasks to encourage them to reflect on their learning is important. So for example, at the start of the year, getting students to identify goals for themselves, providing regular opportunities or tasks in class for them to contribute artefacts, and providing a task in which encourages students to compare and contrast pieces of work they've done and document how they've improved over time. It is important to build these teaching and learning strategies into the learning environment. Portfolios are not just limited to older children, they can be highly effective for younger students as well. It's important that we use age-appropriate ways to encourage students to complete their portfolio work and self-evaluate. It's also important to encourage parents to discuss their progress with their children. We now provide an example of an e-portfolio in a younger student. Maya is a young 7-year-old student. Her portfolio demonstrates how young learners can engage with self-regulated learning using age-appropriate technology. The portfolio tracks her progress using voice recordings, emoji feedback, and teacher and parent feedback, and it gives a comprehensive picture over time. Initially, Maya's teacher helps her to set a small, clear goal that goes into her e-portfolio. Her goal might be that she might want to read a whole Level 2 book by herself. Maya's goal is written in her words and paired with a picture or an icon like a little book so she can understand it easily. Each week, Maya might upload a short voice recording of herself reading a page. She's asked to listen to her recording and chooses an emoji to show how she feels about her recording. The teacher adds little quick comments like great expression or let's work on sounding out long words. Her parents are asked to review and also leave encouraging comments at homework time. At the end of the month, with her parents, Maya watches her earlier videos and recordings and compares them to her new one. With help, she completes a simple reflection on her e-portfolio. What she did well, she might be able to read bigger words now. What she wants to get better, maybe not mixing up B and D. She draws a picture of herself reading to show how she feels. This provides a great example of how e-portfolios can be used with younger children to encourage self-regulated learning. There's a number of different benefits of using technology for self-regulated learning. It empowers students to take ownership of their own learning journey. Technology provides choice in terms of how they express and use and express their learning. Digital tools also facilitates visibility of progress. They make learning progression visible and tangible and encourages students to recognise their growth. It's important that there's a collaborative approach to using technology and that teachers introduce technology with the aid of self-regulated learning strategies that we looked at earlier. This allows comprehensive support. Authentic engagement is really important, and when used effectively, technology encourages students to engage within self-regulated learning and reflective practice. Some tips in terms of introducing technology to support self-regulated learning. It's important to deconstruct the learning process into clear, manageable components that students can understand and apply. Then you identify the role of technology, if technology can support each strategy. It's important to critically assess whether it enhances or diminishes student-teacher agency. You do not want technology replacing students' or teachers' individual decision-making. It's important to trial the technology by developing a pilot lesson and letting the students know that you're testing a new approach. Following this, working with students to gather feedback and observing the impact is critically important, as well as co-constructing next steps in terms of using technology for self-regulated learning.